Under the scope.
All right, hey everybody, we are here for another installment of a Scope Summer Movie Throwdown.
Throwdown?
We never really named this.
Making up words.
We never really named this
Under the Scope movie review. Yeah, we never did the summer series of movies.
Scope Summer Series. This time around, Adam is here with his lady who's hiding. Mandy, she's behind the seat. She's the talking seat. Jared is here, and we are reviewing Sundance Darling, Obvious Child.
I'm going to move this back. There we go. I'll just hold it.
You'll hold it.
All right.
Obvious Child stars Jenny Slate, a former SNL cast member. I don't know what she's done since then. You tell me.
Troll show.
She's done a lot of comedy stuff. She had a kind of a recurring role on Showtime's House of Lies. You watch that show?
House of Pies.
House of Pies. She also did House of Pies. Lots of house shows.
2.5 Men. She's a new star on that.
Parks and Recreation. Shows up as John Ralphio's sister. I mean, she's all over the place.
And she's on Frontline on PBS.
Good to know.
She digs in deep to find out what the NSA is up to.
Yep. Fox Business. She knows her stocks.
She does. So, who else stars in this film that we would know, Jerry? It's a small film.
You know, I'm harnessing the mobile technology that is available to us these days, and I'm looking at the IMDb page. Her roommate, Gabby Hoffman, and the leading male,
Fresh off of her
Jake Lacey.
She was in Girls, Gabby.
Yes.
Did a very disturbing few scenes in
a bunch
that
of other roles
series
that we don't need to talk about, but we probably should mention writer-director Gillian Robespierre. I know it's Gillian because I listened to the Jenny Slate interview on Bullseye, and that's how she pronounced it. So, Gillian Robespierre.
Gilly.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got the cast. Let's go through the plot of this movie. It's a New York-based film.
Very trendy Williamsburg, Brooklyn neighborhood.
You could tell. Because they all wore weird sweaters and oftentimes had shirts with other cities in New York emblazoned on them.
I didn't think anything was weird about the wardrobe.
So Jenny Slate plays Donna. She is a stand-up comedian. She's doing a set in the bar one night, it's a bar. Apparently she doesn't get paid for this, but a lot of struggling comedians don't get paid. And her boyfriend, I don't remember his name, he breaks up with her in the bathroom. Ryan. Turns out he's been sleeping
Adam never forgets a boyfriend that breaks a girl's heart.
Turns out he's been sleeping with a friend of hers, and he decides to break it off, so she goes into kind of a downward spiral of depression.
Meltdown.
Meltdown.
As women are ought to do whenever
they
get emotionally charged.
An awful lot of drinking going on. Lots of questionable voicemails left on former boyfriend's phone. And so one night she is very, very drunk doing comedy and... Doing poorly. I thought it was funny, but hey.
You weren't there at the bar.
I have the benefit of editing to help out. So, and she meets up with...
straight-laced?
Max. He's very preppy. He's very clean-cut. He does not really belong in this Williamsburg bar. But
this is what happened to him after Where the Wild Things Are.
Very, very true. Was he in that?
Max.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God.
Character.
Perfect parallel.
There's a reason why we usually do these duo.
Grind to a halt. Two people. Anyway, these two...
The internet got it.
These two drink a lot. They hang out. They seem to have a rapport. There's some public urination, and before you know it, there is a...
Banging of gongs.
There's a hookup. And there are consequences of the hookup. Turns out Donna ends up pregnant, and she now has to struggle with the decision of whether or not to have an abortion. And that's where our story goes.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you everything. We don't do that here.
Maybe we should. All right, so so from there...
Jared, that was an excellent plot review.
That's why I let him do it. I just step back and say, Jared, take it away.
I'll actually think about it sometimes while we're watching the film.
It seems like you're not enjoying the film when you're actually thinking about this.
Live in the now, Jared.
Well, the thing is, so many people are watching this that you have to bring your
There's usually 20 minutes of the film I forget while I'm plotting out what I'll say in the review.
That's why he actually doesn't say the rest of the movie, because he doesn't really know what happens. Because halfway through, he's thinking about what he's going to say.
Exactly. Planning ahead.
I'll tell you what happens after we turn off the camera. At the end of the movie.
It's the Scope After Dark.
So anyway, definitely a movie that is probably not going to be seen by a lot of people.
No, it's
a small little film. Some may call it a gem.
You already pigeonholed it when you said a Sundance favorite, which means it's going to be playing in your art house theaters probably.
So let me give you one part about this movie. I've often heard that on film, having stand-up comedy on film is difficult. You don't get that same energy. You have the issue of editing, and a lot of times people don't find that funny. I've heard it mentioned with with the Tom Hanks, Sally Field punchline.
Sure.
That was an issue that they struggled with in that, and other movies of, that sort of cover this same ground. And for me personally, I felt a lot of that in this movie. Like, the stand-up for me was weak. The stuff that was around the stand-up, I enjoyed a lot more.
I disagree with you. I thought the stand-up was really fun. And the fact that the film isn't about stand-up, it's sort of just incidental to who she is as a character, sort of takes the pressure off of the stand-up having to be the focus. Punchline is about stand-up, and for that to fall on its face is a crime. But in this movie, I don't know that there's that standard that they need to be held to. And I really enjoyed the comedy. I felt like you can tell that she does comedy performance because she felt very natural, and I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I agree with Jared.
That's
Shane.
fine. You can agree with Jared.
You don't really like stand-up comedy in general.
I'm not a big stand-up guy. So
I think it filled in some scenes where instead of learning more about the character through conversations and stuff, it tells you about her as a person, because as she talks about, the stand-up is really her life. She's not making jokes as much as she's just telling people about who she is.
Sure. We won't ask Mandy because we know she agrees with me.
What?
No, she doesn't agree with me. That's okay. Your feelings, lady?
I really like Jenny Slate.
Do you?
And I liked the stand-up a lot. I think she's adorable, and that demeans it, but I really liked her little mannerisms in the stand-up.
If you called her adorkable, that would demean it.
Yeah, I don't know enough about her to know whether or not we're seeing just a lot of Jenny Slate's coming through in the character, or if this is actually her putting nuance and backstory into the character. So, but it was a good performance nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys go ahead and talk about it.
You don't have anything to say?
I just the movie just in general sort of, like I said, I liked about 2/3 of it, and the other third just didn't really resonate with me that much. I liked the people in it. I liked the characters that were there, but
you just mean the stand-up you didn't like?
I just didn't like. I didn't like any aspect of that.
I mean,
really.
I don't think the stand-up really took up a third of the movie. I think it was more like probably combined 10 minutes.
I'm giving you a look now.
I can see. I don't know why.
Well, then I will talk about the film.
Go ahead.
I thought it was a pretty nicely nuanced film. There isn't a lot of story there, and I mean, it's pretty much an A to B progression. There's a main storyline. There's no subplots or anything like that. It's a very tight 83-minute film, so there's not a lot. There's not a lot of complications or anything, but I think that it was, a really tight story. I liked the character moments. I think that, you got to see moments with both of her parents, and they're very different characters, which is nice to see that there's some dimension to those characters. They're not just there to be parental figures. I don't know. I enjoyed it. If I had to pick a nit with it, it would be that I thought that some of the personal moments, the not stand-up comedy moments, but some of the personal moments were maybe a little too jokey at times. I don't know what you do about that, but all right, we're going
to get caught on YouTube right away.
So that would really be my only criticism. This isn't I don't think an Oscar caliber film by any stretch, but I enjoyed watching it.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Many of the same things Jared said I agree with. I felt like Max was almost too gentlemanly, kindly, hilarious.
You felt like maybe he needed to have a dark secret?
He was a little too perfect, perhaps?
He was incredibly
He was
perfect.
everything she needed.
I want to date Max.
I don't want him to have a jerky side, but maybe he needs to have some sort of screwballness to him, an oddball, some sort of secret that...
I think all the roles were really cliche. The dad was the goofy dad, and the mom was the kind of business-focused mom.
Sure.
And he was the perfect guy, and she didn't quite know what she needed, and I wasn't a giant fan. I wanted to like it, but I didn't.
I like it.
She liked the opposite things that I liked. Very weird. Very weird.
So I guess what we can say is this film is not going to be good for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some of the early reviews, that they were using to pump this up, and they were talking about how it's, a game changer for the romantic comedy. Like, it turns it on its head.
I don't know about that. That's giving it a little bit too much
romantic comedy
credence.
will have an abortion plot from now on.
I mean, I think that it is edgy where a lot of romantic comedies aren't. I think that you have Jenny Slate, who is perfectly likable, and I think she's good in this movie. But I don't know if it's remarkable by any stretch.
I didn't find it remarkable. I found it overwhelmingly enjoyable.
All right. Calm down.
Yeah,
sir.
this isn't something I'm going to buy. For me, it was more funny than it was sweet. It had moments of sweetness, but, overall, I enjoy it more as a comedy than I did as I guess, the romantic part of the rom-com.
Gotcha. He's more of a
It's
com
fine.
and less the rom.
It's fine. Not going to light the world on fire.
All right. Well, let's, before we come to blows here, let's actually give this I don't know.
There's no coming to blows. It's just people can have dissenting opinions. It's all right.
I'm just trying to transition.
I'm so mad in the backseat.
She's very angry
It's
about
not a
it.
very good transition. You're fired.
Usually my transitions are not good. We know that. Uh-oh. So let's give this sucker a score.
The Scope score is 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars.
Not the best film ever.
Not the best, but hey, it is something different. We don't see a lot of summer movies like this. I appreciate the fact that movies like this get released, even if I don't like 1/3 of the movie.
And I think if you're a fan of Jenny Slate, definitely see it.
This is her star turn, Jared.
Sure.
That's what they're saying.
She's very small.
She's very small. So, until next time, make sure you like us, watch us on YouTube, download the video. You can't download the video.
I just like to listen to you flounder as you go through this. Like, comment, and subscribe. Just keep it simple.
He said it. So for Jared, Adam, Mandy, Shane, check us out next time. Thanks.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying arrivederci. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.